Welcome on board. This is a USB Type-C constant voltage and constant current charger for 2-cell lithium battery packs. I mean 2 batteries in series, like this pack of 2 lithium-ion batteries or this pack of 2 lithium polymer batteries. So the input is 5 volts and the charger raises the voltage to 8.4 volts for the battery pack. It's not written anywhere, but as a rule of thumb, I recommend using one of these separate protection modules when you charge and use batteries in series. The protection circuit on the top of this battery is made for a single cell, not for 2 cells in series. Let me show you the board closely. There we go. You can modify the charging current by replacing this shunt resistor here. In my setup, a 40 milliohm shunt gives about 1.2 amps of charging current and draws around 2.9 amps from the 5 volts input. So you should be able to power this board with a fast or very fast cell phone charger, but it should be rated above 15 watts. Here is the back side of the board. It has a solid ground plane, and this solid ground plane helps improve the performance. I think it's enough for a quick introduction. Now let's take a look at the schematic and the PCB in the next section. Alright, this is Altium developed software that I used to design this schematic and this PCB layout. But you might ask, what's the benefit of this Altium develop? What's the catch? Altium develop offers many features, but one stands out. It makes teamwork easy, especially on complex PCB projects. Imagine you are on a team where one person works on power supply, another designs digital circuits, someone else handles RF parts such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, LoRa, and another team member creates component libraries and prepares the bill of materials. If you rely on traditional methods such as email, shared folders, screenshots, and PDFs, things get messy. You end up with a bunch of schematic and PCB files, misunderstandings, and frustration. This will delay your project, stress the team members, and affect the company's revenue and reputation. The difference is obvious, so I won't explain more. Follow this link in the YouTube video description, sign up on the Altium website, and test it with your 1-month free legal license. With that sign up, you can also download the project files from this link. So let me explain the schematic from this left edge or the charger input. Here is the USB Type-C port. These two 5.1K pull-down resistors tell the charger that this port is on the load side and can accept high currents. I connected the shield to ground because this is the recommended practice for USB Type-C ports. C1 and C2 are decoupling capacitors. They help stabilize the controller and reduce noise. Let me know in the comments, why did I use 2 capacitors in parallel here? RS is the shunt resistor that sets the typical charging current in constant current mode. The PCB is compact, so if you think the thermal stress might be high during long, continuous operation, you can increase the RS value to 50 or 60 milliohm. This will reduce the charging current, of course. Q1 is a safety P-channel MOSFET. It prevents uncontrolled current flow from the input to the battery. For example, when the battery wires are shorted or the input voltage exceeds the battery voltage. It's best to use a low RDS on MOSFET here because it directly affects heat generation. From RDS on, I mean load drain source resistance, when the gate voltage is 5 volts. Let me move on and explain this side. D1 is another protection component because when the controller uses both MOSFETs in its special buck-like protection mode, the inductor must release its energy safely through D1. Q2 is an N-channel MOSFET, the main switching element. It turns on and off to step up the voltage and control the charging current. L1, Q2, and D2 are the standard parts of a classic boost converter. C3 and C4 are output capacitors. Use a low ESR capacitor for C4. Let's move on to the PCB. Let me zoom in on the PCB and then enable this single layer mode. This is a 2-layer board. The bottom layer, this one, is a solid ground plane which acts as the ground reference for the top layer. A solid plane reduces both the length and the impedance of the ground return path. Let me disable this again. As a rule of thumb, for a buck and boost converters, the connection between the inductor, diode, and the switching MOSFET must be short and wide. This helps keep radiated emissions as low as possible because this area carries high switching currents and excessive copper can act like an antenna. In this boost converter, the loop area formed by the switching MOSFET and the inductor is kept as small as possible. That's why L1 is placed close to Q2 and Q2 has the shortest possible path to ground. D2 is also positioned close to L1 to minimize the current loop. Thermal reliefs on the output capacitor pads help protect them from excessive heat transfer from D2. The feedback path, this one, is routed away from switching components to reduce noise coupling. I used a 0 ohm resistor here to avoid routing wires and a trace on the bottom layer, and also to preserve the integrity of the ground plane near the controller chip. So that's it. Alright, welcome to the test bench. I put these two lithium polymer batteries in series and soldered the wires to the charger output. I don't use a mobile charger here because I want to show you the current draw or current consumption at the USB Type-C port. So this power supply measures the input current and this clamp meter measures the charging current because I put this clamp on the battery wire. Let me connect this wire to the power supply and there we go. This is the input current or the USB Type-C current, 2.9 amps, and this is the charging current, 1.2 amps. I think this is acceptable for the fast chargers because if I am not mistaken, the maximum current for the 5 volts voltage is 3 amps, so this is below 3 amps, but you can modify this. The shunt resistor at the moment is 40 milliohm. You can increase it to 50 milliohm and a little bit reduction in the charging current. That doesn't matter. Let me see if the board warms up rapidly or not. It's fine. I think you shouldn't have any problem for the continuous operation, but as I said, if you don't like, you can increase the shunt resistor, but 50 should be fine for all cases because even it solves the current draw at the input, maybe 2.5 or so. It's pretty fine for almost all chargers. So I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to share and subscribe. See you in the next video.